আমরা দায়ী করছি শেখ হাসিনা এবং তার গোলামদের স্বরাষ্ট্রমন্ত্রী এবং তাদের পুলিশের লোকদেরকে তাদেরকে আমরা দায়ী করছি এবং আমি আপনাদেরকে জানাচ্ছি যে এদের বিচার হবে সবগুলির বিচার হবে উপরের থেকে নিচে সবার বিচার ইনশাল্লাহ বাংলার মাটিতে আমরা করব নিশ্চিন্ত থাকেন আর আরেকটা হলো আমি এখন ইংলিশে কিছু কথা বলবো We are living in a police state in Bangladesh. Some people have understood it, but yesterday's attack on a peaceful demonstration protesting price hikes in Bangladesh demonstrates the kind of country we live in. We do not have our constitutional right to demonstrate on any issue, and we attempted to hold a peaceful demonstration at Shohid Minar. The police did not allow that, and we were forced out onto the streets. We had a lot of people with us because a lot of people are affected by the price hikes. Most people in Bangladesh, they do eat rice, and the price of rice and other goods has gone up to a very high level. And the government is failing to control these prices through bad economic management, through total incompetence. Some people call us the opposition, but we are not the opposition. We are the resistance to a fascist dictatorship. Just like in France, when France was occupied by the Nazis, the people who fought against the Nazis were called the resistance. We are the resistance to Sheikh Hasina's rule. Her family's rule has ruined this country in two different historical episodes. And I believe that this one will be remembered as the one that has done most damage to the country in the long run. Different countries of the West have taken different lines. Only one country has taken a solid line defending the human rights in this country. Let us admit that. There are people who are pro-American or anti-American. That's irrelevant. The truth is, only the United States has taken a strong line on the violation of human rights in Bangladesh. There are other countries, Western countries, very well-meaning, who deplore violence, who deplore election rigging, who deplore vote fraud, but do nothing about it. They deal with a fascist, illegal regime. They deal with them quite happily for commercial purposes. One government, for example, a representative told me, we prefer constructive engagement. Constructive engagement with whom? With terrorists, with murderers, with torturers, with looters of the country? What constructive engagement do you expect? And we completely condemn those countries that take this soft role towards this illegal regime. All countries of the world should recognize this is a pariah regime, just like North Korea, just like Myanmar. Myanmar, of course, they're wearing military uniforms. Here they are not. They're using the military uniforms of other people and police uniforms to control the country. But they are just as bad in their own way as Myanmar and North Korea. They wear a democratic mask, but it's just a mask. And everyone by now, after 12 years, we know that. They have appointed a group of election commissioners that we have no confidence in. Putting 300 names of Awami League party loyalists into a bag and then picking out a name doesn't make the name clean. They are all beholden to the Awami League, and we cannot trust them to fulfill their duty, their constitutional duty to the nation. We just cannot trust these people, and that's the main thing. Unlike all the democratic countries that surround us, I mean, even Nepal is democratic. Nepal, Sri Lanka, Maldives, India, Pakistan, all of them are democratic countries. The shame is we are not. And in all of those countries, the government, before the election commission is announced, has consultations with the different opposition parties. This is normal, this is democratic, this is accepted, except in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, a dictator rules. She and her family and her business cronies are looting this country, and we will oppose it every place we can find. They will not give us a place to stand, we will stand in the streets. Any area that they allow us to stand, we will oppose them and we will continue to oppose them. No compromise with these criminals, and that is what I call them. The criminal police that they use, the criminal Chhatra League, which should be banned as a criminal and terrorist organization. Those who have enlisted their names in the Chhatra League, we will definitely identify them as criminals, not just in this country, but internationally. Wherever they go, they will be identified as criminals. They will not get away with it. They think that they can go to Canada, set up a new life there, and become clean. It won't happen. We will find them and we will identify them. And inshallah, we will punish those that we find for their crimes against the people of Bangladesh. So, it is very important for the press to realize that the media is bifurcated now. There's the controlled press, which many of you represent, and despite your best efforts and your courage, you're unable to put forward the truth. And then there's the uncontrolled press, the social media. The social media will dominate the future of the media in Bangladesh. All of you have figured this out. The reason is we cannot be sure that even in the future, any government will try to control the press because they have the levers to control the press, to reward the press, to make businessmen who control the newspapers and television stations, we can make them rich. Any government can make them rich, and they are always in their hands. So honest journalism is severely threatened by the Awami League. And in the past, also there were very few papers that stood up to one-party rule during Bakshal. Very few newspapers. The one newspaper that stood up, I think, was called the Azadi. The Azadi's copies have been removed from all libraries. All the copies of the Azadi newspaper have been systematically destroyed. Well, the government thinks it can rewrite history, that it can erase the dark pages of one-party rule. I promise you, they will not be able to do so. And in fact, their misrule and their propaganda about the liberation war and who fought in the war and what role they played in the war is going to be overturned, and overturned very soon. You are not going to have to wait very long for the overthrow of this government, inshallah. But our people must stand firm and they must show courage. It is a scary thing to face people with guns and sticks and iron rods. It is a very frightening thing. I've done it a few times, and I'm always impressed by my fellow leaders. They willingly throw themselves into the battle. Sometimes people have to take a risk. Getting freedom, we cannot get freedom for our country. We cannot just have it handed to us on a plate by the United Nations or the United States. We have to fight for it, and we have to fight for it with these hyenas. If you're not willing to fight for your freedom, it isn't worth much, I promise you. It's not going to be a real freedom. You fight for it, you earn it. And I urge the people of Bangladesh to support those who are fighting for freedom, who are taking risks, who are in hospital today because of the fight for freedom. Please support them. It's vital that you do. Just kind words about them is not enough. So with these words, I will end my speech here, but it is intended for all of you and also for our friends abroad. Those who are living in England, in Canada, in the United States, must write to their public representatives and call on the liberal parties of the world to support freedom and democracy in Bangladesh. What do I mean by liberal party? The Liberal Party in the UK, that's a simple one. The Liberal Democratic Party in Germany. Write to them. They will help, because injustice anywhere is unacceptable to these parties. So I'd like you to, all of you who are listening to this from abroad, please write to your public representative to speak up for freedom, justice and democracy in Bangladesh. Thank you very much.